Jean-Michel Jarre, welcome to Glasgow. Great to have you playing here. You're playing in October at Braehaed Arena. What can we expect to see in the 2010 Jarre live experience?
It's a very exciting project I had in mind for quite a while, of bringing the magic of my outdoor concerts into more controlled space, something that probably I couldn't have done a few years ago because the venues were not there. The venues were not there, the technology was not there, and so it's obviously I'm going to play the most popular songs of mine, but also some new material, and revisited with we are 4 on stage for 70 pretty amazing instruments, analog synthesizers, and the whole on the musical side. Everything is going to being played really live, with no pre-recorded or pre-mixed things and no computers on stage. I really wanted to get this challenge of having a live performance with electronic music in days where so many acts are pre-recorded, pre-mixed, and using lots of computers. So that makes it really dynamic, fresh, and with an incredible warm sound. I mean, from the beginning of this tour, we had really excellent feedback from the audience on music-wise. I mean, I think it works quite well. It's quite special as a sound, really warm, powerful, and quite enjoyable for us and hopefully for the audience. And also, in terms of scenography, I really devised something very special in terms of new videos and lights and lasers. I have got the famous laser harp, which is quite impressive in the in the 2010 version. And it's basically something really quite new for me, and I love the idea of putting all the energy of an outdoor concert into a more to share this in a more controlled space, even big space such as the arena in Glasgow, to share this kind of total immersion feeling that you can't have really on outdoor. And being not depending on the rain or the wind, even if it's today, it's a great sunny day.
You've played some of the biggest concerts in the world ever, and you're playing arenas. How does it compare for you as an artist, playing these huge, enormous concerts and playing arenas? How do you approach these? Are they different approach?
You know, it's at the same time. At the same time, it's a different story, but also I would say by the end of the day, a concert is a kind of love affair between two entities: the crowd, the audience, and the stage. And this chemistry, like for a couple, that work or doesn't. And but beyond this, I think that ironically, I can push the limits even more in an arena situation where you have a space made for the performance. Where in outdoor, sometimes you have to compromise with the climate, with the weather, with the architecture, and it's a different story. But I'm really thrilled about being able to create this kind of powerful impact in terms of sound, and also the staging, the visual in these big indoor arenas all over the world. It's a real thrill.
As a performer, your shows have always been quite spectacular visually. How do you manage to keep ahead of the game? Other performers are now obviously offering similar kind of shows. How do you keep one step ahead? How do you keep ahead of the competition, if you like?
You know, I don't think if it's my obsession is being ahead of anyone else, but more trying to dig in myself about what I want to create, to express. I think an artist, if he has something to say, has probably one thing to say in his lifetime, and he's spending all his life trying to improve that. And my world and my ambition is to try to be able to encapsulate this kind of mixture between the live performance of electronic music and music in days where music is everywhere. I mean, if somebody is going to a venue and making the effort of paying a ticket, is to get something very special, unique, also on a visual point of view, not only from the artist and the music he likes. And actually, when I started, I realized that a few years later, a lot of rock bands followed that path by being more and more involved in the visual side of their work. And I think it's something that I'm always trying to improve. And this is the reason why I'm doing this world tour and being involved in the future in lots of other project because I'm by far satisfied of what I've done so far.
The concert in October, it's the third time in recent years you've been in Scotland.
Yeah.
What brings you back here?
Actually, first of all, because I love Scotland. I love the vibes of this country. On the French point of view, we have historically lots of links with Scotland, and it's a country traditionally open to new musical experience, to music in general, even much more than France, being more country linked with literature. But I love the colour of Scotland, the sound of Scotland. Not bagpipes, but not only bagpipers. I love bagpipers, but I love this contrast in Scotland between the kind of very deep colours and deep souls, and also the kind of energy and nice wave, and so I really hope that the Scots audience, the Scottish audience will enjoy this new project of mine as much as we are excited, the crew and myself, to be in Scotland in the 3rd of October.
I recall that in 1988, when you did your Docklands concert, there was certain uncertainty about whether or not that concert would actually take place in London for planning reasons or whatever, and there was talk for a while that the concert would actually be staged in Glasgow, actually here in Glasgow.
Absolutely. I mean, I write a book one day about the Docklands experience, because it has been really crazy, because this concert has been refused on the last minute, I think because of the mistake of the promoter not having done the entertaining license early enough. And then it has been refused, and I went to the media and said, okay, and to the people, okay, give me a venue and I will be able to play. And then at that stage, lots of people, the Royal Navy proposed a boat, lots of people ran to propose the back of their garden, and lots of different cities said, oh yes, but you should forget London and come to us. And that was the case of the city of Glasgow, and they really welcomed me in a very special way that I will never forget, and it was really nice of you to welcome this project. But by the end of the day, everything went okay in London, and we did the Docklands, as you know. But I really one day would like to do also another big outdoor project here in Scotland.
Over the years, you've inspired several generations of musicians, from, if you like, synthesizer pop of the 80s to sort of industrial rock of like the 90s and beyond. Which of these acts do you actually listen to, from these acts to maybe dance acts of today and DJs for whom electronic music is just a regular thing they use all the time? It's no longer, they'll just use it all the time. Which of these acts do you actually listen to?
I mean, I'm glad to see how electronic music has become popular. I was quite sure that it will happen, because electronic music is not just a genre, a style of music. It's a new way of thinking how to write music, how to compose music in terms of sounds, just and not just in terms of notes. So I am in contact with lots of bands, established or more newcomers, and I really obviously love some people from the French electronic scene, such as Daft Punk, Air, or Sébastien Tellier, or Justice, but also some Scottish acts such as LaRue or The Hurts, some British bands such as Chemical Brothers, obviously, and also Fuck Buttons. And I really like their last album. But also people using electronics, but not being that much into pure electronic music, but this hybrid between rock or pop or trip hop and electronics, such as the XX or even Massive Attack. And you have so many genre and style of music, and it's actually Moby, for instance, also is somebody I really respect as an artist, and so many different style in the electronic music, far beyond that. Lots of preconceived ideas these days that electronic music would be just linked to dance floor. It's much wider than that, and all the artists I'm talking about at the moment are far beyond than just the dance floor family.
What artists originally inspired you to move into using electronic music? I mean, your background was fairly serious musicianship, and you kind of moved in towards, after that, moving into electronic music. What inspired you to get into electronic music in the first place?
I mean, I've been really interested by electronic music and influenced not necessarily by music, because when I started, you had no electronic musicians before. So, and it's the privilege of my generation in rock and pop and electronic music that we open some doors to virgin territories even without knowing it. But that was the case because we had nothing behind. So my influences at the beginning were more coming from the cinema or from the painting. I mean, painters such as Jackson Pollock or abstract painting. I mean, I always considered electronic music in a very organic way, like cooking or painting, mixing textures and frequencies and colors and spices, ingredients, in a very sensual way. So painters and photographers and filmmakers have been, and also writers such as Arthur C. Clarke, and this tour being named 2010 from the title of one of his novels is a tribute also to all these sci-fi writers who gave us at one stage such a positive and dynamic image of the future.
Why do you think the appeal for that music has endured? I mean, obviously there's other bands like yourself who started in the 1970s and exploring music with electronics, Tangerine Dream or whatever, and they're still going, the music still, people are still listening to it, and it still sounds futuristic. Why do you think it's endured? Why do you think it's lasted?
I think that it's not depending on the modernity or lack, or it's not depending only on the instruments you use, but also the vision you are able to convey in your work. So I think that my work has always been linked maybe to a kind of futuristic concept because I'm myself involved and interested in that. For instance, this tour is, I hope, a contribution to restore this idea that we should recreate a vision for our future. Year 2000 and 2001 is behind us. It's a little bit like on the way we have lost the positive or dynamic or sexy image of the vision of the future. And I think it's very important to me, and I think for future generations to reinvent, to restore this excitement vis-à-vis the future and vis-à-vis tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Jean-Michel Jarre.
You're more than welcome. Thank you very much.